Hello everybody, this is Julia Chambers with Aberrant Crochet, and I just thought I would do a quick video for you guys again. It's been a little bit difficult to sit down and actually type to blog the last few days, and I apologize for that. I'll tell you what, this house selling thing, it sure is kind of time consuming, isn't it? It's our first time to sell a house, so it is kind of, you know, it's a whole new world for us, a whole new experience. But we do have a deal. And we're in the process of looking at a whole bunch of houses, so we're excited. And who knows, maybe I'll actually have a studio, you know, and a workshop and room to have some more tools. And I mean, I'm really excited. So the possibilities are endless. And for those of you who do know, I mean, I also like to tinker on pianos. And so having room to be able to be a true piano technician, you know, take parts on the piano apart, you know, that kind of requires some room too, so I'm really excited about my future possibilities. Anyway, so I wanted to show you the hook that I've been working on this past week. I found myself calling her Mrs. Maplesworth. I don't know, it's silly, I know, but it's because she's made of maple. And this particular hook is made from a maple dowel. And one of the things that I wanted to tell you guys, you know, I'm trying to use this hook series as an opportunity to teach, you know, kind of give you guys more insight into, you know, what goes into crochet design isn't just, you know, yarn and skill, but it's also tools and, you know, and how you can, you know, change out those tools and do something different. And, you know, the material that your tools are made of, all of this stuff's kind of important. So anyway, with this particular situation, when you're using a dowel, you can always make a hook out of a dowel. But if you want it to be standard, you know, and I've got my little beat up Susan Bates, you know, needle and hook size thing. If you want it to be standard, you got to have metric. And for some reason in the United States, if we wanted to try to get a whole mass amount of dowels, we can't get them in metric sizes. And Jimbo and I have talked about this over the phone. We talked about it at Comma. You know, we have both made calls trying to figure out how we could do that, because it would be nice, especially when Jimbo's doing his classes or whatever. You know, it'd be nice to have some things that are standard. Certainly, we have worked with converting knitting needles. Because they're already in metric sizes. However, depending on the materials, that's not always appropriate, because with knitting needles, they don't require the same strength that crochet requires. Because that little hook right there, we put a lot of torque and pressure and you know, and abuse on it. And it's just something that knitting needles apparently don't need it as much, because if we take that knitting needle and we put a hook on it, we just find again and again, depending on the size, especially the smaller we go, that it falls apart. And so, certainly that's one of those things I run into with a lot of bamboos. It depends on that material, and there comes that point where you just can't go any smaller. But anyway, so this particular dowel, what I had to do, because I wanted it to be metric sized, you know, there's nothing wrong with crocheting with a hook that's not metric, but if you're trying to be specific about your gauge, it's kind of important. So just, you know, something to keep in mind. And so I had to really work with this so it would stay consistent, and you can see, you know, there's no warps in it. It rolls just fine. And finally grind everything down to metric size. In crochet hook size, it's a J, but for metric, for the millimeter size, it's a 6. So that's what we've done. What I've done here. And I want to kind of show you a little bit of what I'm doing with the head. So this is a completely different style of hook than the one I did with the grandmother tree hook. As you can see, there's quite a point on the end. And one of the things that I'm doing with this one, it's got a nice long throat. That's that slant that you see. But then right here, right in the crook, okay, that crook part is what we call the bowl. If you look at this, you can kind of see how the throat goes all the way along and then all of a sudden drops into the bowl. And I kind of did that on purpose. I wanted it to be very slight, but I wanted it to be there, because it can be very useful when you're trying to pull your fibers through a whole bunch of loops. The other part of this is an inline style hook. What that means is that this part here, which is called the lip, is in line with the shaft. And that certainly has certain, you know, aspects to it. I think I'm going to run out of time here. I'm trying to remember what my time limit is on YouTube, but that gives you a little bit of an idea of what we're doing.